there are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers.
You will achieve many great things if you could peel away one of truth's hidden layers. That's a speech this guy gives standing in front of the top honor students of the country. Not, I went to the moon. He doesn't say that. He gives this cryptic speech.
To look into it.
Bill Clinton, in page 100, I think it's 156 of his book, My Life, he gives this story about how when he was a kid, he was working with this carpenter. And this carpenter said, you know, I don't believe man landed on the moon. It was 3 months after the moon landing. And he said, I thought that guy was ridiculous. He said, you know what? I don't believe anything those TV fellows show you. He said, after 8 years in the White House, I thought maybe that guy was ahead of his time.
A magic trick? No. Just the help of a wireman.
99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector grid. Ag side.
With the exception of the manned lunar flights of the Apollo program, all human spaceflights have taken place in LEO or were suborbital.
Some of the video that Cebro has of them faking the distance between the Earth and the Moon when they're shooting the Moon, or the Earth rather, through a circular window in the lunar module.
There's so much fraud when you look into
Astronomy
it. I'm like, I
doesn't
don't trust
cover
shit.
the
Look into it.
Early in the next decade, a set of crewed flights will test and prove the systems required for exploration beyond low Earth orbit.
You can see on the back of his shirt a couple of upticks on either side where you would expect wires to come in on either side of that harness.
The solar system. It's the next big step for NASA in exploration.
Called the Orion Multipurpose Crew Vehicle, or MPCV, this next-generation spacecraft will enable America to explore beyond low Earth orbit.
Absolutely. I am very convinced this is going to happen in my lifetime. I think it's incredibly exciting where SpaceX is going, where NASA is going, where all of the commercial crew efforts are going. We're really looking to maintain station as an orbiting laboratory, but we're also really pushing the boundaries in terms of where we're going forward with exploration. I think humans are naturally driven to do this, and this is really the beginning, I think, of human beings leaving low Earth orbit.
They're often portraying that this is live. Of course, these things are fully choreographed and edited in advance to make sure that there's nothing too obvious that you can see that gives away that this is a suspension in front of a blue screen hoax.
Why do you think the moon landing is real? Why don't you tell me why?
I saw it on television.
Oh, you're a genius. Oh, beep that. Hit
Okay,
that.
we'll bleep it. We'll bleep it. No, it's okay. We got
That's genius. You saw it on TV? That's awesome. I'm going to show you some CGI. I'm going to show you King Kong. I saw that on TV, too. There's an 80-foot gorilla. He's running around kidnapping white chicks.
How do you replicate microgravity here on Earth? NASA Glenn has been conducting microgravity experiments since the 1960s in drop towers like this. These facilities rely on free fall of the experiment to produce a microgravity environment. Here, NASA can test experiments in a reduced gravity environment, similar to orbiting in space.
The kinds of technologies that we're testing out on space station are definitely helping us with our goals of going beyond low Earth orbit.
People think the Earth and the Moon look like this, when in reality, they look like this.
So it's that microgravity or micro-G condition of free fall that station exhibits. We can do the same thing with aircraft. The maneuver takes us approximately 8,000 to 9,000 vertical feet. We're going to climb at 45 to 52 degrees nose high. At near maximum airspeed. The parabolic, the top parabola, it prescribes a ballistic trajectory, a nice arc. There's no net G, so you get the free fall micro G.
And it will be able to launch the Orion capsule with humans on board, as well as landers or other components to destinations beyond Earth orbit. Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit.
The faking of spacewalks in a swimming pool. In this vid, you catch a glimpse of someone wearing a scuba tank. In 2013, a gallon of water leaked into one of their spacesuits in a matter of seconds. NASA doesn't really have a proper explanation for how on earth this could have happened.
And some scientists are worried that future space travel might be too risky
if we get too much junk orbiting the planet. We might seal ourselves inside a shield of shrieking metal moving at 29,000 kilometers per hour.
Evidence, or I look at the fact that we haven't been back since 1972, when I look at the fact that no humans except the Apollo astronauts have ever gone through the Van Allen radiation belt, the fact that no one's even done a flyby around the moon since then, it seems weird to me. When I look at the press conference and I see Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong and Michael Collins nervous and weird and obviously like being deceptive after they came back.
From Mark Cameron. This is from Mark Cameron.
Whilst in space, have you ever looked away from Earth into the black void?
Because you can see, because you can see the stars.
Oh yeah.
You know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon. The sky is a deep black when viewed from the moon.
And the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
The sunlight washes out all the starlight, so you can't see any stars, just like here on Earth.
Yeah, you can, and there's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons.
You see the gas Magellan clouds of the Milky Way
see
galaxy. Pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
Then when you look out into deep space away from the sun, it's the darkest black you can imagine.
And the most frightening darkness that you could ever imagine.
Pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
The sky, of course, was black, but it had sort of a velvet sheen to it.
The biggest visual surprise was just how black the sky was. You have a brilliant sun, brighter than any sun you normally would see, even here in New Mexico. You have these extraordinarily high mountains. We were in a valley deeper than the Grand Canyon. But then you have this black sky, a sky blacker than black, as the old Vidicon expression used to be.
There's all the stars there, and the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
I've often tried to explain the difference between darkness, when you turn out the lights and it's dark in here, or blackness. Blackness is the endlessness of it all. It's hard to comprehend.
But it would be harder. See, people think it was actually hard to get to the moon. Yes, it was hard, certainly, but it would have been way harder to hoax it.
Yes, today. But hoaxing things back then was really sort of the way they did it. I mean, that's how they got into the Gulf of Tonkin. That's
you fake news stories. You know,
there was a lot of fakery going on back then.
You're faking news.
It was the height of the Cold War. And there was a lot of reasons why I thought some fuckery was afoot. Anything is scientific. You should be able to question it, and someone would give you an answer. But there's a bit of emotion and attachment and pride with certain historical accomplishments, like one of them being the moon landing.
It went beyond science. It was a cultural achievement. Since the moon has no atmosphere, then a daytime picture. If you're there in the daytime of the moon, you see a full night sky of stars, even with the sun in the sky as well. You don't see stars in the daytime on Earth, not because they're not there, but because the atmosphere is aglow with scattered light from the sun. If you take away the atmosphere, the sun will still be there, but the sky goes dark.
Well, they lied about this. We know they lied about that. They lie about things all
the time. The government lies all the
Jessica
time.
Lynch and
But they'd have to lie as well as 10,000 scientists and engineers. I mean, think about this. Just think about this. We knew more. If there were ever a state secret that the government wanted to keep, it would be the behavior of President Clinton's genitals.
But that's the other problem. They don't have the telemetry data from the Apollo 11. Isn't that like the most important data? Isn't that like the most important thing? A huge technological achievement. They landed a man on the moon, brought him back, and they're missing the telemetry data? 14,000 something reels?
No. Hey, where did you get this information?
Jamie.
Where'd you get it?
Where'd I get what?
This information. Where is this coming from?
This is coming off the internet.
Exactly. Figuring out how we're being bullshitted is very.
But that's
I'm obsessed with it. How are they bullshitting us? I love that.
See,
shit.
I like that.
I love that.
I like that Eddie's like
I don't
this.
like
I
just
think
want
you need people like this. Like
Yes.
he loves it. Like he loves it.
I think this is how crazy I am. I think we're being lied to about fucking everything.